23 minutes left, so we can get started. To answer that question, though, people always tell me, they're like, Gaijin, what's Canada like? And I'm like, it's like the States, only more polite, better money. Like, I hate our dirty green paper that's been run through pockets and bras and...
Do you like Timmy?
You're the only Western country with one color first. Euro is multiple colors.
It's also some paper. I mean, we can.
I'm not gonna get too political, but I'm so tired of my country's high horseness.
We have plenty of room.
You say that. I've got some YouTuber friends up here who are like, I am legitimately concerned for my friends' well-being, and I will form a company just so they can come up here so we can give them visas. I'm like, if only I didn't have to move my own company. Yeah. That would.
Getting into this country is not an easy thing to do.
No. I actually saw Lukic's process of getting it done, and I'm like, woo, girl. So. No. Anyway, let's get started. Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here. I am here to answer your burning questions and waste time. So, we'll get right into it. Otherwise, I'll just sit here and monologue about stupid things. Who's got what question where?
Well, one that I noticed, your badge. Do you have that in kanji on the front?
I do not.
Oh.
I mean,
I guess I just missed out when I walked
Villain?
earlier.
Why not?
Fair enough.
Because good is dumb.
To be fair, evil's pretty stupid too. Stupid. Anyway, no, but what else you guys got? That's what I'm here for.
Well, actually, just for a thought, when watching your series of Which Ninja, I wasn't sure if you were taking this one into consideration, but a ninja I noticed was very popular, like have on Ancestry, is Ryuichi Cooper from the Sly Cooper series. Especially when a techniques are learned later on, noticed the ninja inspired jump.
I looked at him. I can't find a thing. No, I'm serious. I looked into that game. I know it's high priority. I can't find a thing that's like historically there. There's the blue, but I mean, I've overplayed that so much I turned it into a jingle, for crying out loud. But no, like the Sly Cooper series, I can't find anything. I might try to get some outside like third-party help for that, but I can't find it. What else, my dudes and ladies? What up?
Well, first I want to say I've been like sharing some of your videos with my family, and even though like they're not into like all sorts of media that I'm not into, we've been, because of what you do, we managed to find some common ground. So there was the one episode where you were talking about on how Japanese business language is very different from.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was.
I hated cracking that textbook open.
Oh boy.
I was getting PTSD. I was like, no, I'm getting tests. No. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, my apologies.
I know you primarily do mainly Japanese culture, but have you ever thought of looking into what are your thoughts on the Ryukin and the Ainu culture?
Funny you say that, because I was actually going to do a video on the Ainu culture a la Golden Kamui. The hard part with that is that they just kind of lay out there like a lot of these cultural aspects. So I'm like, I can't top that. So what I've been trying to do is try to find relatable things that they don't mention and put that in. However, that's also when that episode of Gaijin no Kitaro dropped and they talked about plastic surgery. I'm like, oh my feels, I have to do this first. So I might do that I might actually wait till October, because I know the second season comes out then. So I'm probably going to do it then. But no, the Ainu are something I definitely want to talk about. I kind of danced around it when Kobayashi's Dragon Maid was like super huge. But there was only so much to go off of that, so I wasn't able to like sink my teeth into it. But I think at the start of second season, I'll bring that back up. Because, fun fact, when I was doing research, I found a 2-part documentary about the Ainu, and it turns out that my old, the Japanese teacher who first introduced me to everything, back 12 years ago, excuse me, goodness, it has been a long time. she was doing.
More power to him.
So,
I mean, if he can pull it off, go for it. I'm not going to be judgmental of his life, but the thing is, it's just Matt simply just doesn't have time. It is a 24/7 job to not only stay on top of what YouTube's doing to us, but also to, you know, now be a dad and also have his second work as being a consultant when it comes to branding, advertising, and YouTube. And so that's a whole other different ballgame.
That I actually didn't know about that.
Yep. Yeah, he's done. I mean, he's made mention of on his videos before, so I think that's information I can share. But yeah, he actually he has a lot of secondary work that's unrelated to game theory or film theory. So.
Huh.
What inspired like the creation of the Gaijin Goombah?
I love telling the story. Okay, there are like there's like multi tiers to everything. No, it's fine. What did you lose? If I see it, I'll send it to guest relations.
Sorry about that.
Interrupt
your panel?
That's part of the panel.
Okay, inspiration time. Yes. Okay, a couple of things. One, they are cute as hell. I don't care what anyone says. I am so mad that it took this long for them to get Smash, or not Smash. Boy, how much fun would that be, Goombah and Smash?
Oh my god.
Some people have actually modded to have my character in it, and I'm like, it works, just have a lot of kicks and headphones. No, but they're super adorable. They're very underappreciated. Like, everyone always walks over them. Like, even Nintendo doesn't really care about them that much. Like, every single Mario Party, like, the only thing that Goombas have ever been in game-wise was sluggers, and they had some of the worst stats in the game. And then they were in Mario Kart, and they were just speed bumps. I did a whole video on it. But I mean, it's part of that. It's also because they don't have arms, which means they don't have multiple points of articulation. So that made animation real easy. The other thing too is that I really liked how it rolled off the tongue because it was more memorable. And branding 101, you want a name that people can remember. I was a little worried because I'm throwing a Japanese word out there followed up by someone else's brand essentially. But no, it just worked. It worked really well. But there's so many different reasons, but those are some of the ones I can think of at the top of my head. Thank you. What up?
Thanks for the videos you've done on Final Fantasy XIV, where you all really appreciate it for those of us who play it. Could you give us your opinion on how they interpreted the recent introduction of Tsukiyomi?
That was gonna be a video, but then I ran out of time. No. I could do 12 videos on that stupid game, Stormblood alone. I could. Not enough people gonna watch it though. That's the problem. If I can like somehow like GoFundMe, like crowdsource fund a mini series of that entire game, you bet your ass I'd do it. But that's kind of where the problem is. No, here's the weird thing. Tsukiyomi, first of all, is a guy.
Yeah.
I don't know why they chose Yotsu, honestly. I don't know why they went that route, but I mean, the mirror thing made sense. But they kind of already did that with Susanoo, which is the best fight in the game. It's so good. I assume that this is going to be uploaded to people who also play as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Susanoo is a good fight. Get good. This is pause for we alone. I love that voice.
That's a good voice.
Also, we are trying to at this. I'm sorry, I've derailed everything, but I don't get to talk about 14. It's the one thing that my wife and I do a lot. No, like we're actually trying to figure out how to play it on Taiko because we're in a Taiko group, and his theme is like just so. It's good. So anyway, I don't know why they chose that combination because all the other ones felt good. Like the fact that Susanoo came from basically the Japanese Imperial Regalia, that made sense. The Namazu made sense. I'm so happy I get to finally get that stupid Mikoshi mount. When I get home, I can finally finish up the stupid quest line. But no, like, I don't know, but I definitely want to make mention of that. But there's a whole slew of things that I could do. So I might be able to make it happen. We'll see. But no, there's so much I could talk about. It would be a panel within itself. Okay, who's next? Oh, wait there.
Okay, my question is, when you started on YouTube today, how would you find it to change both the community and also the corporate entity?
It is a pure corporate entity, and there is no community anymore. YouTube is not a community anymore. YouTube has been trying to actively gut it for 2 years now, something like that. We have to. They actively tell us to form communities elsewhere. They actively tell us to make money elsewhere. Like, it's very overt. It's very not tongue in cheek. What's the right word? It's in a lot of hidden messages. But YouTube has really gone out of its way to be like, hey, you can make money on all these different other platforms. It's like, or we can just do what we've been doing. And, you know, you give people who have put a lot of time and effort, who follow your regulations in, and we can go do that, and everything will be hunky-dory, and you can be the Netflix you always wanted to be, YouTube. Or they can do what they're doing now, and they're paying for it. Like, YouTube just lacks any foresight whatsoever. Like, if I can piece together what they did wrong, I can't figure out how they can't. It's like it started off with, okay, we have to get rid of reply girls. Cool. Now it's going to be based on retention. Cool. So now there's just going to be nothing but trash on. Oh, well, now since everyone's making daily videos, people aren't going to like subscribes anymore because people are getting hundreds and hundreds of notifications. And so now we're getting rid of subs. It's like, YouTube, you created these problems and we're the ones that are suffering for it, so figure it out. I will say, though, does anyone here aspire to be a YouTuber of any kind?
I wanted to animation.
Here's the thing. You do not need a huge following on YouTube anymore to be financially successful. I know a dude named Dogan. I don't know if you guys have ever watched his videos. Go look him up. He's absolutely fantastic. Dogan gets maybe 4,000 to 5,000 views per video. The dude is pulling in twice what I make on Patreon. Like before, it was YouTube ad revenue was the only thing that we had. It was the only way that we could be successful and kind of like earn revenue. But now there's Twitch, now there's Patreon, even GoFundMe to an extent, or like, what's that one, the coffee one? Like coffee, yeah, F-E-E. There's so many more alternatives. So just because you don't have a giant audience doesn't mean you are going to fail per se. Because I've seen people with less than 10,000. I know 10,000 subscribers sounds like a lot, but when you're working in the hundreds of thousands, it sounds very, very small. But even people of that size, they make more money than I do. So it's all about. I think we're going to see a post artistic perspective when it comes to YouTube. Because at first it was like all the really, really good. It's all the really pretty stuff. And then people started making fun of the pretty stuff because the pretty stuff felt pretentious. And now everyone's getting sick of everyone making fun of everything that looked good. I think we're heading into that part. So, sorry, I derail questions too much, I apologize. But I would say that YouTube is almost purely corporate at this point. And because of the actions, because of the things that they're doing, I do not think they are actively, trying to help form a community, unfortunately. But there are many other places. There are other places they can. Twitch, ASAP. You want to form a community? You go to Twitch. Problem with Twitch is that you can't grow on Twitch because they have no algorithmic system, so you can get noticed. But that's probably coming. So, anyway, thank you for the question. Yes.
It kind of leads on to what you were just talking about with the Twitch thing. Me and a couple of friends, we are planning on starting that Twitch thing, so you're saying that would be a better way to start? But like,
it might be a better way to start. The problem is that no one's going to be able to find you because there's no algorithmic system put in place to look for certain games or certain genres of gaming or anything of that nature. The reason why Twitch has worked for me is because I've had my name out there for 6 years now. So even though it's kind of small, relatively speaking, it's still very functional. What Twitch is right now, it's supplementary, but they're trying to figure something out. Like right now, they'll put small channels on their front page, and that's how you can find people. But there's still a gaming oversaturation problem.
Okay.
So it might, but I would say diversify as much as you can.
Yeah, because what I was planning on doing is I want to start streaming Dungeons and Dragons.
Good call.
And,
by the way.
Yeah. And basically, I'd be putting the videos after the fact on YouTube, so that way, because I know with Twitch it can only stay on for a set amount of time.
That's not a bad idea. Two things you need to worry yourself about. One, you're probably not going to have a huge viewership because even the Unexpectables, for as popular as we are, the videos themselves of the sessions only get about 5,000 views, something like that. You're going to want to put that on iTunes.
iTunes as well.
You're gonna want to prioritize like blog or not blogs, but podcasts. I'm sorry. I'm tired.
It's been a long weekend.
I am tired as well.
Been a long weekend.
So no, that's where you're gonna want to go.
Okay.
That's where the growth is when it comes to stuff like that. Because that makes such a better podcast than a video.
Yeah.
To be completely honest.
It
Like
does.
I sat down and tried to watch Matt Mercer and friends play, and I'm like,
what I do with that is basically I'll play it like. I have to catch it most days after, like on the Monday when they post it on YouTube, due to working the night of. But I'll usually put it off to the side on my phone, have it there, and I'll usually sit there playing games or doing other things.
Yeah.
But I agree with what you're saying. So, second question onto that then, with the podcast thing, how would you get started with something like that as well then?
I honestly don't know how I could say to do it one way or another. It's just doing it.
Fair.
Fail quickly. And by that, I mean figure out things that you're doing wrong, learn them fast, listen to constructive and even unconstructive criticism at the very, very beginning, and look for where the constructive criticism may be. Because when I got started, everyone was like, I hate your voice, which was horrible shorthand for, I think you need to have better audio. So that's what I'd be kind of.
So look for the positives and the negative, basically.
Pay attention to everything when you're first starting out.
All right. Thank you for the advice.
Yeah. What's up, man?
So I got two questions, and one because as you already know, I already
Sure.
My wife
Tell her. Everyone in this room that loved Aki's Pixel Pets needs to go on right now to Twitter and tell her.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Because what happened with that is no one said anything positive about it. All she got was the negative. Horrible people who are angry are loud. Happy, complacent people are silent. And that's rule one if you want to get into YouTube. Because you have to take the comments seriously, and at the same time you can't. And it's the hardest thing to counterbalance. But I've had so many people come up to me and they're like, oh, I miss Pixel Pet so much. I'm like, did you tell her? It's so critical. And that's not a slam against you guys. I'm just saying, you have no idea how much power a single positive comment has. Because it's like, I uploaded, like, with Culture Shock back on my channel, I just uploaded it yesterday at about 1.
The God of War one?
Yeah. The God of War one, yeah. And it's been having a lot of good positive comments. That matters. That matters beyond what I can even begin to explain. Because even though we all say don't read the comments, we read them. Don't let any YouTuber tell you otherwise. We read the comments because we have to look for consistency, such as the audio is bad or there was a mistake here or something along those lines. That's how you improve. But it's also absolutely critical. Do not ever, if you want to make me happy, when you watch a video that you like, say that you liked it. Don't watch a video and then feeling like, that was good, and then leave. Because that does nothing for us. That does nothing for our creative stride, it does nothing for our burnout, it does nothing for our own mentality. Because when we hear so much negative, that's when we quit. Because we can't tell that anyone's... That's why going to these cons for me is so critical, so I can see faces behind the appreciation. That lets me know that there's still something there. But when you go online and if it's nothing but harassment and anger and this is wrong and this is bad, why does she have tits? Because she's a woman, of course. She got sick of it. Like that. If you want the honest to goodness answer of why Pixel Pets is no longer there, she couldn't deal with the hate anymore. She could not. It destroyed her creativity. It destroyed her passion. And I am still in the family feeling the effects of that. So, sorry, I don't mean to make it really heavy. So what was the other question?
The second question
Yeah.
now comes to the second question. Going back to that you should did you bring her to
I would love to if the con would have her. The thing is that since she kind of backed down doing that kind of stuff, she doesn't really have an online presence like to that extent anymore. I mean, I would have to coordinate basically with the con to basically be like, okay, we need to be in. The problem is that it was like I would have to coordinate with the con being like, it needs to be in the same flight, it needs to be in the same hotel room, and it just it's a lot of hassle to try and get all parties involved on the same page because the staff here already have enough to worry about with all the panelists and guests and whatnot. So the thing is I tell people if the cons invite her, she will come. Otherwise, it's really difficult. It's not even a money thing. It's just really difficult to get things coordinated so she can come down. So.
Last question is, coming back next year?
I don't know yet. There's. You guys gotta understand. YouTube changes every 3 months, and things happen, and I might not even be on YouTube in next year. I might have gone to another platform. I have no idea what's in the future. I've had a couple of cons that it was like May. I've had a couple cons that are in November, and like, do you want to come? I'm like, I have no idea. Ask me about 3 months out, and then I can figure something out. That's the biggest thing too. Is like YouTube work is so unpredictable. Like you never know when you're gonna have a catastrophe or a critical failure or something like that, and you have to dump time into making it work. So it's like we hate the fact that it has to be such a close call thing, but I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to sidestep it. So what else? Green shirt, yes.
Because your videos are so well researched, actually watch your like the language makes sense on like academic articles that I've read. Have you ever thought of like trying to interview something?
They don't care. I mean, that's the problem. Like when I was like super pop, when my popularity was at its absolute peak, I actually tried to reach out to some intellectual people and like, oh, you do YouTube work. I mean, the professional world is just that snobbish at it. So that's why I said, screw it. I'll do it myself. I'll start my own legacy. And if people want to believe me or not, that's up to them. I'll tell them what I research. I'll tell them where my sources are. Let them figure it out for themselves. So, I mean, that's the thing. Old media is terrified of us, and they very much should be. Because despite YouTube basically trying very, very hard to be traditional media, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. People making their own content and doing a dang good job at it is never going away now. So, I don't know, man. I've had, like, the closest thing that I've had is last week. I had a representative from, like, or rather, the president of the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, the JET program, the big program that everyone tries to get in on. The president of the local chapter actually got a hold of me, saw my Logan Paul video, and I'm like, of course it was that one, and was like, we have another jet that's going to Mie. You said you went to Mie. Can I forward the email? I'm like, absolutely. And it was like, I'd love to hear more about your thoughts on the whole everything when it comes to Japan. And I'm like, absolutely. If you want me to come publicly speak, I'll do it. Prior to that, the only time I did was my post-jet talk at my old college, and I basically told them about what I was doing with YouTube, and they said, you have such a passion for presentation and for information, why don't you teach? And I'm like, one, teachers are not appreciated in the States at all. They make no, I was like, I didn't say it, but it's like, I make 3 times the salary you do, and I'm not going to waste another $100,000 to go get a teaching degree, because I can out-teach you. Sorry, you don't have to go to, that's the amazing thing about the internet. You don't have to go to college. You don't even have to go to high school. If you have the determination and the discipline to learn these things for yourself, you can. You want to go learn another language? Go to YouTube. I promise you, there are all different kinds of channels or even different websites that'll teach you that. Stay away from Rosetta Stone. I have so many people like, Gaijin, I'm going to use Rosetta Stone to learn Japanese. Don't. Ever. So anyway, sorry. But yeah, they don't think we're legit, and I just kind of gave up on it, and I'm like, let my numbers decide that. Oh, guys, what's up?
So speaking about your character, over time you've kind of moved it to the side a little bit, and it's been more you. Not that, you know, that thing.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So what was kind of the impetus around that? Because it used to be all.
It's a lot of technical things. For one, Nintendo. I have made so many drastic changes to my character because I've always been afraid that Nintendo was going to come after me. But Grandpa Nintendo likes to sleep in, so he hasn't come after me yet. And I want to make that. No. The reason why I gave Lil G the ninja aesthetic wasn't necessarily because I was starting a ninja show, but because he was hiding. He's hiding from Nintendo. That's the joke. And I don't think a lot of people know that. So there's a little background information. The other thing too, YouTube was actively shutting my video away because I did not have a human face on screen. YouTube would actually scan for human faces and human expressions. And here's why. So, you guys know how YouTube did that stupid asinine thing where it's like, we'll auto-generate thumbnails.
Oh, God.
They're all faces, and that's intentional. Because people relate to seeing someone on screen. That is just a psychological truth. Some people can get away with it, but it's easier for you to reach a much larger audience if you are presenting yourself as yourself, or at least a caricature of yourself, if absolutely nothing else. That's why for Culture Shock, that's why he completely went away. Matt pushed for that, and I saw the merit in it because I wanted to have a larger audience. I wanted people to. I cared more about me getting my message out there and the education that I wanted to present to people far more than my character. Now that came back and bit me. That bit me hard because no one is a bigger fan of that character than me. Period. And so that's why I did bring him back, and why I think the dichotomy of me and him together actually is a lot more fun. Because people are like, Gaijin, you're just arguing with yourself. I'm like, no, I'm not.
I'm arguing with the Goombah.
Pretty much. That's the thing. That was the one great illusion that sometimes I regret breaking. But at the same time, I don't write him to be my opinion. I write him to be other opinions. And he's been an established character in my brain for such a long period of time. He does have his own personality. And we do clash, so that's just the fun part.
Which honestly, I quite actually enjoy seeing that in.
I'm happy to hear that because it was a big worry of mine that people would be like, oh, it needs to be either all one or the other. But I'm happy people like the dichotomy that we have.
Because I don't see it as you arguing with yourself. I literally see it as you arguing with the Goombah.
Yep.
From seeing every video you've posted and going through and just everything, I've seen that character go from, yes, it started out as your opinion to its own character.
Yep.
It became its own thing, and that's when you started doing the two separate things. And
it also helps to bring discussions up, because I can either start the discussion or one of us can play devil's advocate, and it works out really well.
Yes, and it gets the point across.
What's your favorite Goombah sprite?
See, everyone likes Season 3. I love Season 3 too, but I went back and I looked at the... I was this close to bringing back Season 3, because I'm at Season 4 right now. I was very tempted to bring back Season 3 just because I wanted to, and Nintendo hasn't come after me before. One of the only reasons I made that big change is because a lawyer friend told me to. So, yeah. But I went back and I looked at the sprites and I'm like, these aren't nearly as expressive. And I think it has something to do with the fact that he's 90% head. I mean, if I was to go back and use Season 3 again, I would have to remake a bunch of the sprites to make them more expressive and whatnot. The fact that Little G actually has a torso now means that I can play with sliding in from the side or from top down. There's more of an actual body to work with. Honestly, I do like Season 4 the best, simply because I know it's not the one that everyone grew up with, but it's the one that's allowed me to do the most things with it, and I finally feel like he is his own established character and not knocking off Nintendo. So I would say Season 4. What's up?
I know this might be asking your favorite kid, but what is your favorite yokai?
Probably Tanuki, but Nurikabe is a really close second. I don't know why I like the big boys, but I mean that's just kind of where I sit.
I'm not familiar with the second.
Nurikabe? Nurikabe is I wish I had a whiteboard, man. That would be perfect. Nurikabe is basically a big walking wall that can extend itself as far as you want, or as far as it wants, and it's the only way you can stop it, or the only way you can get rid of it is either trip it, which good luck, or there's usually a certain spot you can knock on. So you guys remember Okami? You remember how you had those 3 or 4 spots you had to smash into? That's legit. That is absolutely legit. So cool, but yeah, that's kind of where I sit. Tanuki's #1, Nurikabe's a close runner-up. I would say Kasa Obake or Choshin Obake, the Lantern one, is pretty close. I really like Tsukumogami, the Thing yokais. Yeah, they're pretty up there. What's up, man?
Yeah, the film was actually trying to build the clan of the ways of how you reference to the actual culture of the story. It was actually fascinating, which when I watched that, I realized you actually debunked the common criticisms the Nostalgia Critic had about the Shredder's motives in the films, because that was a running joke of his from his very old video from 2007, and even the crossover he had from the Angry Video Gamer. You debunked that. How do you feel about that?
I didn't even know.
Yeah, because he just pretty much just figured that Shredder wanted to steal things, and that was it. And they even did the whole thing why George wore the trench coat.
Well, it doesn't really affect me one way or another, simply because that was like 11 years ago at this point. But no, that's good to know. It's like, that's the thing. It's nothing is ever that cut and dry and simple. And that's kind of what my whole shtick is about, is putting that all together. So yeah. Who has not asked a question that would like to? We'll do you and then.
Yeah. 2 questions. One is really quick. I just wanted to know how was the chicken yesterday?
Oh. Dude, those onions were spiced.
Oh no!
I went into that. Okay, so I had coops the other day, and I've never had coops before. And so I went into that chicken, and I'm like, this feels like it's gonna be just like standard issue. And then my tongue hit the spices, so I'm like, ooh, hello there. And then I picked up and then they were like, okay, well here's onion pellets, and I expected like small, like maybe string something, and it's like something that big around, and I'm like, all right, put the whole thing in, make it work. But yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah.
So and then the second one.
Yeah, second question. I was wondering because I lived in Korea for a while, and I was watching a lot of Korean media while I was there, and I also love like Japanese media, like maybe like movies, anime, manga, and stuff. And I like how usually like Japanese media usually shows like different cultures, but through like the Japanese lens. But I always found it hard to find like Japanese perspective of Korea, whereas when I was in Korea, I saw like the perspective on Japan. It was quite critical considering the history they have.
You mean the 4 times they invaded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of it, and I was wondering, like, is there like some weird relationship? Like,
there absolutely is. Okay, so here's the thing.
Asia hates each other.
No. Here's the thing. Is like above all else, Japan has a weird relationship with North Korea, because there was a whole bunch of displaced North Koreans during World War II, and so now you've got like Northern Korean communities who are like, you know, they're great leader. I'll just put it that way. And so there's just a ton of animosity there because of what's happening now versus what happened then. But Japan really does. I don't think Japan really has any take on any other culture that they've done extensively. Like they'll poke fun of it, which we slammed them for. But Japan doesn't know. Like I don't need to be that guy, but Japan does not know the rest of the outside world. Like even today, they don't. They know the worst stereotypes. Like you'll still see blackface in Japan simply because they're that far behind. Like they just like I've had people who were like, why is there so much blackface like in One Piece in the early days? You know, why is that a thing? Why is Mr. Popo a thing? And I'm like, because they don't know they didn't understand the Atlantic slave trade. They're not taught that, and so many people are like, how can you not? And I'm like, they're on this side of the world. And the teachers don't teach it because they're so inwardly focused. So, sorry, I'm getting ranty now, but no, that's the thing. It's like it's not just Korea. I think it's literally the entire world.
I feel like they'll usually not feel shy to represent someone they don't know. They'll do it like maybe poorly, but they'll do it.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like I've yet to see media coming out of Japan that's about Korea.
If they do that, then the entire continent will crucify them. Yeah. I promise you. If Japan ever brings up Korea in any light, trying to represent, unless it's like Koreans living in Japan that do it, the entirety of Asia will crush them. Like in publicly, social media, like within social media, things like that. It will be a slaughter.
You should see what happened in Kinnikuman with Brock and Jr. Ooh, boy.
So what else? Who has not? Okay, yeah, that's right. We were going to next. That's right.
Talking about Final Fantasy 14 earlier. What's your favorite class?
Ninja!
Obviously.
What's your least favorite fight?
What's her name? What is her name?
Shiva?
No, Shiva actually wasn't that bad. Titan sucks. The Hindu girl that the snakes work.
Sri Lakshmi.
Hate her! I hate that stupid fight. I hate the fact that they put it in a one-on-one situation too. Lakshmi?
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah. Hate Lakshmi. I hate that stupid fight so much because you have to do so many things. That just... Let me stab her, please! No, that fight I didn't like. I'm forgetting names. Golf Caddy Weeaboo. What he is! Am I wrong? No. Actually, kill me because I can't remember names. Prince had the 3 swords. Golf Caddy. Name.
Freak.
I didn't like his Shinryu fight. It was fun the first time.
Oh, Xenos.
Yes, Xenos. Dude's a weeb. He's a golf caddy weeb. He is. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look up Final Fantasy XIV and Xenos. And he's just a dude. He's just doing this big old armor, and he's got, you know how usually there's like one sheath? It's a golf caddy on his left that rotates 3 different swords. Sorry. Please. I can only take so much. I thank you for making me not hate the Namazu anymore, but you made me hate the Mughals, but there's only so far I can go. No. Who plays 14 that has ever interacted with the Mughals? Fuck the Mughals.
Yeah.
Everyone else, in every other game, they're cool. But no, like I've heard nothing but horror stories from my wife, and I'm like, I'm never touching them.
I see what you mean by the golf caddy. Golf.
Right? Look! He's a golf caddy weed.
I see it.
What am I looking at?
Yeah, that guy.
Yes.
His weapon looks like a golf bag.
Okay. Anyway, any others, or is that Tekken no Tetsujin, because I'm too old and fat to do DDR anymore. I tried doing it the other day at Ramo. I'm like,
it's a good workout though.
It is, but you don't fall down and barf. Okay, who is not asking a question that wants to? Yeah, all the way in the back.
Is there a schedule you follow to put out your videos? Or you just
I try so hard. But in the end, it didn't even matter. Sometimes, no, honestly, sometimes it doesn't on YouTube. No, I'm trying so hard to make it weekends, because sometimes, here's the other thing too, I'm getting a lot of people that wanted to put brand deals on my videos, and that's one of the only ways I can make money now. The problem is that they have to approve the video before it goes live. I was very lucky in the fact that the one with Honkai Impact 3, which went out again yesterday, they were like, yeah, you're good to go. Bless them. But Friday, Saturday, or Sunday is when you can expect. Like, from here on out, my schedule, I'm trying very hard to be, the first week is going to be a research week, where I'm going to try and get scripts and stuff lined out. And then starting the second week of the month, a video on Saturday, maybe Friday if it gets done early, and Sunday if it gets done late. It will always be at like noonish. And then week after that, and then, yeah, week 2 will be anime. Week 3 is going to be Witch Ninja. Week 4 is going to be Culture Shock, because I need to give my editor as much time as possible throughout the entire month. So that's pretty much what I'm going for. Anyone else who has not?
Well, technically, I have it.
Go ahead.
What do you mean, technically?
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I apologize for that.
That's alright.
Okay. Why are Japanese game shows so weird? Japan?
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Isn't that kind of a matter of opinion too?
No, they're weird.
No, they're bloody weird.
Well, I'll tell you the ones. The ones that are like way too NC-17 or is there? What?
R, basically.
No, it's worse than R.
X.
Triple. Those are faked, straight up. I think the game shows might be kind of weird for the same reason why cute is so prevalent in that country, in that there needs to be a deterrent from the 60-hour work week. Like, you know, this really is an example of all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It really, really is. That's why on one hand, we're like, Japan is one of the most pristine, professional countries in the world, and then we get to their nightlife, and then we're like,
wait, what happened?
what? It's extremes. It's very much extremes. Case in point, when I went to my first drinking party with the other teachers that I worked with, when they got hammered, things got weird. Do you guys know what an oshibori is? Don't worry about it. Basically the hot towel that they give you before you do anything that has anything related to food or drink in that country.
Yeah.
So you guys know what that is. So
No, I don't.
we're doing karaoke, whichever. And so they're starting to get really into it, and I don't know a lot of the songs. I'm sober. I am the only sober one there. Because I don't trust it. So anyway, I remember we have a male coach and a female coach. The female coach puts in Cutie Honey's theme and starts standing up to sing, taking her shoes off, and I'm like, can I sing? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay. So she gets up there and she's drunkenly singing, and then the male coach wads up his hand towel and shucks it at her face. And I'm like, what? 6 hours ago we were having a nice meeting, and now this is happening. All right. Here's the thing, though, is that because of their constraint, like they're so personally constrained at work, that everyone understands that when it's closing hours and when everyone's drinking, it is to be immediately forgotten, because you just gotta let it out, babe. I mean, that is how they view it. Instead of managing it on a semi-regular basis, it's like, work a whole bunch, get hammered, work a whole bunch, get hammered. To anyone who ever says that Japan doesn't know how to party, I deny you, good sir, ma'am. I deny you with my own 2 eyes.
We can bear karaoke day where I work.
When people get drunk over there, it gets a little weird.
Same in my place, especially if let it go.
But no, that's just. I'm sorry. I get off on a tangent so hard. But yeah. What else, guys? Yes, sir.
You first.
Okay.
You first.
With the Pokemon series, where you did the kind of cultural background on the 3 starters of Sun and Moon, do you have anything more like that planned?
Not really.
No?
I'm kind of waiting to see what the next generation is going to do. I thought maybe of trying to go back to some of the old school ones since Let's Go was coming out.
Okay.
I don't know how well that's going to do, though. But when the next gen comes out, I mean, that's going to be just oodles of fuel to the fire. Because when Sun and Moon came out, I had like 8 videos.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's the one consistency that Pokemon has that is an absolute godsend, is that they have a lot for me to pick through. So,
sure.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. You talked about the importance of business language in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But what about for outsiders? Like the challenge for outsiders either trying to get into a Japanese business or trying to establish one. Like what's the?
It doesn't happen. I mean, it really, really doesn't. Not that often. I have never ever heard of a foreign group coming in to basically get a Japanese business license and setting up shop there. Like maybe once or twice I've heard that, but it's like it's not like a professional sort of business. It's like either entertainment or something along those lines. But even then, it's rare because it's hard to get in. The thing too is that if you're going there for like a business meeting or something like that, no one expects you to Keigo. No one expects you to Keigo. That's actually one of the nice benefits, is that they understand how complicated their own freaking language is, and they will not hold you accountable. They will also reward you if you do know of it. I've gotten many a free lunch doing that.
What's the Keigo? I'm sorry. What's Keigo like?
Oh, Keigo. It's basically if you took the entire language, with the exception of maybe grammar, a bunch of words become different. So, to eat is taberu. In Keigo, it's meshi agaru. If you're trying to be humble, it's itadaku. That's another form that trigger. So no, they don't expect it. But as far as like actually getting in, good luck. It is next to impossible. So. What's up, man?
When my family would go over there for to Japan, especially for a business meeting, and they would go out to parties. They would usually be drinking whatever, and then someone else. There would be another group of businessmen with another foreigner, and my saying, one of these businessmen yelled at the other table, and I quote, "Our foreigner can drink your foreigner under the table."
That's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Did that happen to you a lot?
No. Because the thing is that since I was out in the countryside and I was one of 3 foreigners in the area, people learned who I was very quickly, and they knew that I wasn't a partier. So they never tried to pull that. They did, though, have the assumption that I ate a whole lot. Because America. And I'm like, no, I actually don't eat very much at all. And they're like, no, eat. And I'm like, all right, you're cleaning up when it comes back out. And sure enough. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, listen next time. What's up?
I don't know if you've mentioned it before, like in a video or anything, but do you have a favorite Super Nintendo game?
Can you pick a genre?
Okay, RPG.
Just Mario RPG, straight up.
Yeah.
It's not to say that 6 or Chrono Trigger is bad. That's just I've never really been exposed to them that much. Like Mario RPG was the closest thing that I got to a JRPG at that time. X is good. Anything past Mega Man X4, I just alright. You know, the Mario All-Stars pack is something I actually really adore. I know a lot of people, like Ego Raptor and whatnot, say like, it's just all homogenized, it doesn't have its own look, and I agree with that, but at the same time, it was really fantastic playing those games in 16 bits. So those are the ones I got. And Kirby Superstar. Absolutely Kirby Superstar. My first game, though, was Kirby's Dream Course. So when the Grumps were playing that, I was like, oh, my childhood. They're terrible at this game. Then I got better. It's all good. So, okay. What's up, man?
Do you still feel any nostalgia for any games you may have played when you were younger? Now, I don't get that anymore because I feel like I'm constantly...
Mega Man 5. Straight up Mega Man 5. One of my earliest gaming memories of my entire lifetime. I remember me being the terrible platformer that I was at the time. I was trying to get through Charge Man stage, and I kept dying, and I kept going back and back and back. And I remember I was eating dinner, like at our family table, with a swelling headache, because like I was on that thing for 4 hours trying to beat it, and I finally did. I just like. It happens. There's also positive triggers, I would say, when it comes to some of the old games. Like when I sit back down on Mario 3, I remember things. I didn't have a super great childhood, so most of it's blotted out of my memory. But whenever I come back to some of those games, I remember weird things. Like, what was it? Not Abadox, but Abadox was weird. Yeah, if you wanna see the Nintendo's very first gross out game, go check that out. I can't remember what it was, but there's just so many small triggers, and then it just goes from one thing to another to another to another. So it's not like I have a lot of overall positive nostalgia, but what happens is memories get triggered, for better or for worse. So, I guess. What's up?
Okay, so I read articles, seen YouTube videos and stuff, and other things saying vacillating between the Japan and society or people is screwed or imminently screwed or they're doing just fine. And so my question is, on that sliding scale of screwed or doing well, where is Japanese society?
Japan's boned. They are. I talked to them about it too. Here's the thing. I was over there from 09 to 11, and that's one of the things that was kind of on my mind a whole lot. Is in, I would say, in 50 to 60 years, for those of you that need a point of reference, in 50 to 60 years, 40%, if not 50% of their population is going to be too old to work, which is going to completely crush their economy. And I've told people, I'm like, they're going to have to do one of three things. They're either going to let their economy suffer, which they will not do. They will master artificial intelligence, which they will not do because they are not risk takers, or they will have to incorporate more foreigners into work, which I'm seeing more of, especially when it comes to Vietnam and the Philippines, especially the Philippines. But they are still very hesitant to let foreigners in terms of being like one with the community, because they have it in their head that they're homogenous, which they are not, ever. If anyone, when people come up to me and they say Japan is all of one blood, I laugh, because that is wrong, objectively wrong. So I don't know what they're going to do. It breaks my heart too, because I don't. This may sound weebish, but I don't want their society to go away, because in the 16 years that I've been studying, they've taught me so much. But no, they are 100% boned unless they do something about it. So, yes. Okay.
This is a personal question. I've seen so many people via the social media, they're just doing it up via teenagers, be it like 20-year-olds and on. How old are you?
I want you to guess.
Oh,
no, we're doing this.
34.
Okay, you're either 9,000 or 32.
You're actually relatively close.
35?
No, I'm 4,000. No, I am 34.
I guessed right.
Although I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm maybe 24. I feel like I'm 24.
You look 24.
My hairline doesn't look like it though. And neither does this. But
better than mine.
Preach to the choir.
The Bulbasaur family. In terms of like nostalgia, like one of my recent favorites is Greninja, because I just realized what kind of badass he is, like culturally speaking. But I think the Bulbasaur family, going through the three, is my favorite. I'm not sure why. I've always liked plant types. Like I'm a grass boy to the day I die. We have 10 minutes. Oh, hi Johnny Goombah. I'll talk to you later. I might have a thing with him. Do you guys know, really quick? Do you guys watch The Completionist?
Yes.
Do you remember earlier this year when he got the actor of the old Red Ranger to come on board and like review the second Power Rangers?
Austin St. John?
No, that was the one that came after him.
Yes, I know it.
Yeah. And no. Here's the thing. Is that Gerard was pretending to fanboy, and he's like, which prehistoric Zord do I get? I don't care which one, except the frog. Here's the thing. I met Johnny Goombah at Indie PopCon last year through Akidiris Enjoy the Anime Man, and he's like, yeah, I told him what I did. He said, I really respect the fact that you're trying to be like educational with it. Talk to me sometime. I didn't expect for him to contact me back because I messaged him last night, because that's when I saw the video, and they're talking smack on the frog, and I'm like, oh son. Oh, son, you want to talk about cultural relevance of what's the best objective Zord? Let's throw down. And I'm like, hey Johnny, so one of your old castmates and one of my YouTuber friends is spitting shade at your character and your Zord. You want to do something about it? You want to spit some shade back? And I just got a message back from him, and I'm going to figure out how that's going. I'm excited for that.
Me too. Coming soon to a YouTube video near you.
Hashtag Frog Best Zord.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, you had a question.
So, I don't know if it's been asked yet, from which ninja, which is my favorite of your videos.
Thank you.
It is. I love that, especially you got to Anime Arts, you met that one dealer because I done charity auction, and they donate a lot of things that people get. Anyways, what has been your favorite episode to do up to now?
Oh, you're asking which is my favorite child. I can tell you why I loved a whole bunch of them. I love the spy one because I didn't expect it.
That was
I didn't expect that.
That was really good.
I was like, alright, this is gonna be a bad ninja, whatever. I'm not gonna have enough to talk about. Oh no.
Sorry.
I found the Bansen Shukai and now everything makes sense. Guess what? Ayane's a good ninja because I found that old text. Crap! I'm gonna have to put her on the other side now.
Wait, Ayane's a good ninja?
Ayane's a good ninja. I'm not gonna say why now, but like she's 90% terrible, 10% great. So you're gonna have to figure out how that counterbalances. Purple hair does not a good ninja make. However, her overt sexuality, it's legit. As much as I hate to say it. So, let's see. Spy was good. Ayane's gonna be fun. Spectre Knight was fun. Spectre Knight was fun because I actually got to work with Yacht Club Games on that one. They confirmed for me that, yeah, they were basing all of his movements off of Ryu Hayabusa from the old Ninja Gaiden games. And I'm like, yes! I got it legit! I really like the Speed of Sound Sonic one from One Punch Man.
Yeah, that was still play as an anti.
No, that was fun because that was like easy. See, here's the thing: people are like, you don't ever talk about Bad Ninja. I'm like, no, I do call out Bad Ninja, but I always want to bring in like what actually makes it positive. The bad news with that video though is that there's a French company who owns the distribution rights for One Punch Man, who's going around to the entirety of the internet saying, we own the rights to this, we're taking your money. And I'm like, man, I really wish I could talk to freaking heads of One Punch Man in Japan. They did that real quick. What are some of your guys' favorites? I want to hear that. Just speak up.
Sheik was the shocking one though.
Sheik was fun. Sheik was a bit of a stretch though.
That was a good one though.
It didn't do very well. It did not perform well. I was really surprised. Like, it's about 30,000 views shy than what I expected it to be, but yeah,
I honestly can't pick a favorite. I enjoy the whole series too much to sit there and be like,
I am so surprised you guys like it so much because I did it. I did it on a whim. I was like, I feel like I need to invigorate my Patreon a little bit to give something. I need to develop something new for the people who are actually supporting me financially instead of just being like, here's a Patreon, go support me, because that's not cool. I wanted to produce something different, and like I'm so surprised that it took off as well as it did.
Yeah, on the side, I think it was in I don't know if you keep in touch with Misty Connect.
Misty Connects you?
Yeah,
I'm friends with him.
His video because there's a new spring anime that's very historical, feudal Japan, and I want to take a look at.
Okay.
That's all I remember him saying.
Okay. I've got time for like 2 more if they can be real quick.
Alright. Well, first of all, loved your episode on Zero.
Oh man. I didn't expect that one to do well, but it did.
Yeah. On your title you do have Raiden from Metal Gear. And I was wondering if you were going to do anything about that at any time.
It'll get there. I have to talk about Genji first, and that's going to have to get there eventually. Go ahead.
What was the first video game you ever played?
That is a good question. There was... Do you guys remember the old Puss in Boots game for the NES?
Yes.
That's one of the first ones that I can remember, where he's like in a submarine and your power-ups are burgers. What?
I know the game. I know.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, definitely.
When you were young, did that make you want burgers?
Actually, yes.
Like, every time that happened, I'm like, God, I want to go to McDonald's. Because I was young then, and I didn't have a sense of taste. Anyway, but no, that's the first one I remember. Aside from like Mega Man 5, early Mario. I actually scared my dad with Mario because I'm like, well, no, here's the reason why. I'm 7 years old and I'm explaining, hey, Dad, I am in Stage 3, World 4, and it scared him the fact that I understood those kinds of concepts, like those kinds of numerical concepts that early. So that's why my parents were never like, you're going to rot your brain, because I scared my dad straight, I guess. That's for lack of a better way to put it.
So basically what they what they tried to do with you, you did to them. Before
they thought to do it.
That's
so
great.
That's the other thing I love my parents for. They were never like, now I come from a Christian household, but my parents were good. Like, they were like, hun, what's Dungeons and Dragons about? I'm like, you're fighting monsters. Like, all right.
Actually, if you want, we have a Dungeons & Dragons pen for you.
I don't know if I can get that through the airport.
Airport?
It is a sharp.
Well,
I'll figure it out. One more question. Who's got a really, really good one? It's got to be really good. Ooh. Everyone put their hand down. Go for it.
Going back to your Shin Godzilla review, now that, unfortunately, with those 2 Japanese men that were captured by ISIS and executed, and now Japan has made revisions to their constitution to make it easier for them to go to war, what do you think about that? I mean...
How is that related to Godzilla?
Yeah.
no, it's just, you just talked about the general topic. Or the general idea.
Your wife brought up, the self-defense force, and you said they swore off war constitutionally.
They did.
And now they're back in the game, so to say.
It's going to be really interesting how that turns out, because, again, as much as As much as they are literally, they are not figuratively an island. Everything that happens in the world resonates within that country, and I think they're starting to figure that out. Which is why I think they're going to get rid of Article 9 at some point, because they need. The problem is that they don't have a military force.
I mean,
that ain't going to save them from much. Like,
really, I thought they were pretty well armed. I mean,
no, they're well armed. They're just not numerous. No. We basically subsidize with soldiers their personal defense because of old World War II treaties. So their problem is that they don't have people. They don't have the manpower to make it happen. The other thing too, is that they're still going to get.
I mean, we're Canadians. I mean, our military. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're going to have the people, and they're going to get they're going to get pushback. Because of just how peaceful we're trying to be. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. I literally have to leave to go catch my flight right now. So unfortunately, I can't stick around to do any signings, pictures, or anything like that. But thank you guys so much for coming out, and absolutely good time.